Women's IT World. Women's IT World. Women's IT World.
Welcome to episode 2 of season 5 from the Women's IP World Annual Podcast, a podcast series that's shining a spotlight on women in intellectual property. I'm your host, Michele Katz, and I'm the co-founding partner of the law firm Advitam IP, which in Latin means Intellectual Property for Life. We are based out of the US in Chicago. Me and my firm are hosting this podcast on behalf of Northens Media PR and Marketing Limited, based out of the UK in London. The 2025 edition of the Women's IP World Annual can be found digitally at www.womensipworld.com. Again, that's www.womensipworld.com. And you can listen to the annual as well on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to pick up a hard copy if that's more your speed, as Northens Media booth is at most major conferences. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Sue Leslie of Patworld. We're going to enter the world of patents today. So welcome, Sue. So glad to see you here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about your role at Patworld. Where are you located? What does Patworld do? And how you came to work in this IP sector.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm Sue Leslie, the Digital Marketing Manager at Patworld. I've been working in intellectual property now for almost 10 years, since starting work with Tim and Dean, the directors of Patworld. However, I've known them for far longer. Prior to that, I was a digital inclusion manager for adult education, working within Wales, helping adults learn the basics of using computers and the internet. I now work at Patworld. We're based in the UK in South Wales. We have clients globally, although we are based in the UK. For people that might not be familiar with Patworld or what we do, as I said, we're a company based in the UK with global reach and clients. We specialise in providing patent, trademark and design searches, helping various businesses, so whether they are patent attorneys, in-house counsel, research and development departments, universities, small to medium enterprises or individual inventors. We help them carrying out the intellectual property research for them, and in turn helping them make informed IP decisions.
So are you a patent lawyer?
No, I'm a marketing manager, a digital marketing manager. I'm not a patent lawyer.
Are there patent lawyers or patent agents, say, that are working within Patworld?
No, we don't offer any legal opinion, but we work very closely with patent attorneys. Our role is just to provide the research for them or for individuals, blue chip companies around the world. We work with various large companies and the in-house departments, but we don't provide any legal opinion. We work with the attorneys that do that.
Okay, so then give me an example, like case study, that what's your part and then what's the IP lawyer's part that you work with?
Okay, well, there could be two or three ways that would happen, actually. One way would be that an individual would go to a patent attorney, say it's a patent attorney in the UK that we work with. They would go with an idea that they would want patented. That a patent attorney would then come to us and say, right, okay, I would like a patentability novelty search carried out for this idea. We do that for them, with or without analysis, depending on what that attorney wants. We send it back to them, and then they would provide the opinion to their client. So we would do the research behind that, and then that, they would deal with it from there. Another way that happens is that very often we would actually have individual inventors come directly to us. So they want to carry out a search first before they go to an attorney to see whether their idea is worth pursuing further. So there's various ways of doing that. But whichever option they use, we don't offer legal opinion. That isn't our area, but we do the research behind it to help inform that.
Okay. So you're, opening the door to intellectual property, so to speak.
We are. That's it. I'm
Okay.
cleaning the windows so people can see what's out there.
Okay, I love that analogy. So why do you think intellectual property often feels inaccessible or intimidating to innovators and entrepreneurs?
I think sometimes there's a perception that it's only for large corporations, or that you need a law degree to understand it. But in reality, IP is something that underpins everyday innovation. So whether you're an engineer, designer, or a small business owner, it's something that would apply to you. So whether it's an innovation that that you're dealing with, if you are importing and manufacturing things for people and you want to know that you've got the freedom to operate, well, intellectual property can actually, you know, underpin everything that you're doing. So it's something that people need to be aware of.
Okay, I see. And so how do you think the marketing and education can help change those perceptions for those that do feel that intellectual property is inaccessible or intimidating?
Certainly for the work that I have at Patworld, a lot of that is involved around good communication. So that can completely change how people would perceive IP. So a lot of the intimidation around intellectual property comes from the way that it's traditionally explained. So it could be very technical, very legal, and not always connected to people's real world goals. Marketing education allows us to reframe that. So, by presenting the same message in different ways, we can resonate with different audiences, whether that's an entrepreneur hearing about IP for the first time, or someone in R&D that just needs a clearer understanding how patterns fit into their work. So, sometimes it's about simplifying the language, sometimes it's about changing the format, using visuals, storytelling, or practical examples. Education plays a big role too, because when people understand the basics, the whole topic feels far less daunting. And that's certainly something that I can resonate with when I first became involved in IP, coming from an educational background, coming into a world of IP. I was sort of flabbergasted going into conferences and meetings and talking to people. It took me a year or two to sort of understand the language and realize what was involved. And I think that's helped me in my role to make things clearer for the audience that we're trying to sort of speak to.
Now that you've mastered that language, right? I mean, how long have you been with Patworld?
Almost 10 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, you indicated, okay, so it took a little time, but you've clearly been there for a long time. And it sounds like with your education background, now that you've mastered that language, you can then better explain it to innovators, right? That are come to you. A lot of times it seems like a team approach, right? They've come to you, you do your work on it with the research, perhaps some analysis on that, discussion, bring in the patent attorney or patent agent. Maybe they've been there from the beginning. Maybe that's who is your contact, right? And you're all working together to then understand where are we then as far as, okay, is it time to draft, right? Time to draft the patent. Does that sound like
It
I'm understanding it?
It does in some respects. However, with regards to when it would be time to draft that patent, that would be with the legal counsel,
Right.
whoever that would be. We wouldn't be involved in that, other than the fact of we would produce the research behind that. Some of it may be straightforward, and they'd be able to see straight away. Well, actually, I can't patent this idea, or it appears as if I'm free to patent this idea, but they would need to go to the patent attorney. So either it would go directly to the patent attorney from us because they would instruct us, and then they would go to the client and say, well, look, based on the research that we've had carried out, this is what I feel we should do, and we're now at that stage where we're going to draft the patent.
Okay. So, but education is a big part of it. Patworld has just relaunched its revised introduction to patent searching course, is my
We have.
understanding.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Can you tell us what inspired this initiative?
Yeah, of course. Well, the first course, the first iteration of the course was very successful. It was very well received. Um, we had that up and running for almost a year. However, we decided that course was based on our own patent research database. During the year, we've actually retired that database and we've decided that it's not an area that we want to continue going down. So we've retired that. However, because of the positive feedback that we had, we realized that actually there was still a need to provide this course on introduction to patent searching. So we've now, within the second version of the course, we've changed the format of it. Well, sorry, the format is the same, but we've changed the emphasis. So it's no longer on a professional paid database. It's now on a free to use database, Espacenet. So what we've looked at in doing that is that it's allowed the course to be more accessible. It means that people can do the course, gain skills, feel more confident in actually being able to carry out a patent search, and being able to do that with a free database. So it's given them the skills to be able to carry out those initial searches. It is an introduction course. It doesn't go into major detail. However, it does give you some tips and pointers from experts. So as you're carrying out those basic searches, it's telling you how to do them in an effective way.
Well, that's pretty incredible. So, who then has access to this, free searching tool?
Okay, Espacenet anybody can access. So the tool itself is free. Our course, there is a charge for the course, and we are offering a 20% discount for any listeners of the podcast. So I can
Oh,
send
super.
those details over to you. So anybody who's listening can do that. Um, we've also been working in conjunction with the Chartered Institute of Patent Attorneys in the UK, and members of CIPA are able to access the course free. So that's part of an initiative that we've worked on with CIPA to actually do that for their members. But we also realise the importance of helping others as well, hence that we offer the discounts for people who want to be able to do the course as well.
Okay, well, fantastic. So, why do you think basic IP education is important, even for people who may later rely on professionals for deeper support?
Okay. I think it gives them a basic understanding. So, from the perspective, if they can understand a little bit about exactly what's happening, it helps them to make more informed decisions. So when they want to instruct a search, if it's a more detailed search, then they're far better able to say, this is where I would like my innovation is within this patent area, and it allows us to fine tune this search far better. So having that understanding will help them to inform us in working with them.
I mean, I do think education is key. In fact, just last night, and this is a course that where I teach IP. It's like a survey of IP, so it's patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. And I teach it to teenagers.
Oh,
Every year I have a
brilliant.
new group. It's called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy with an exclamation point at the end. Yay. Okay, that's what it's called. For 10 years, last night was my 10th year teaching this course. And, when you're talking about, understanding the language and the process and what's behind it and the searching and research at an early age, I think, these kids that have access to this information now through this program, through other programs, they'll have a better understanding in business later on in their lives, right?
Of
Because
course, of
IP
course.
is central. So, on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll continue our discussion as soon as we're back.
The Women's IP World Annual 2026, now recruiting outstanding women leaders in IP. The Women's IP World Annual has officially launched its research process for the 2026 edition. Since 2018, we have had the privilege of working with influential and highly respected women from across the globe, and we are now inviting exceptional candidates to join this distinguished community. For each country or jurisdiction, only 3 women will be selected to feature in this exclusive annual publication. This is an opportunity to showcase your professional journey, highlight your achievements, and share valuable insights into the IP landscape within your jurisdiction and internationally. By securing your country profile package, you will position yourself among the leading voices shaping the future of intellectual property on a global scale. If you would like to be part of our 7th annual edition, we encourage you to contact us today and take your place in one of the world's most recognized platforms dedicated to celebrating women in IP. Call +44 0 203 813 0457 or email info@womensipworld.com. For more information, www.womensipworld.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Sue, now I want to take us in a different direction. Let's talk about marketing in a specialist industry. Let's call it that. So, as a
Okay.
marketing manager, as yourself there, in such a technical field, what are some of the challenges you face in communicating complex IP concepts?
Certainly, from a marketing perspective, IP is fascinating because it sits in that sort of crossroads of law, science, and innovation. My challenge and opportunity is to translate complex services into a language that resonates with real people. So I can remember in university when I was studying my degree, I was told to expect every reader to have no knowledge of your topic, and as such, you should explain it in clear terms. And that's something I've carried with me and look to incorporate in all our articles.
When you were teaching, what did you teach prior to entering this world?
Digital literacy.
You did. Oh, this is very fitting. Okay. So this was no random path. This was linked to me. It seems quite like what your prior background is lend itself beautifully to what you're doing now for the last 10 years or so. So how do you balance accuracy with accessibility when your audience includes both experts and newcomers?
Well, I'm lucky there because I don't have to guess about the technical parts. Our patent search experts are deeply involved in anything that requires precision, such as our upcoming Global IP Matrix article on the patent landscapes of robotics. That's something which is outside my knowledge, so they're the ones ensuring every detail is correct. However, once the foundation is in place, I look at how to make the content more readable and engaging. So I would focus on the structure, the clarity, and explaining the why it matters element, so people who aren't IP specialists can still follow along and benefit.
So, when you're learning something, it's so nice when people do it in storytelling method, right? I feel like
Yeah.
that does resonate. Last night, for example, when I was teaching this class to the teens, I would use a lot of case studies, and I think that helped. It helped them understand difficult topics. Um, what role does storytelling or brand voice play in helping people connect with something as technical as IP searching?
Okay. It is about telling stories that inspire confidence rather than confusion. For example, we focus on how Patworld's expert searches can support and help innovators move forward, not just on the technical details. So we're exploring why we should do this rather than this is what it is. We provide this service. It's more about, what are you currently doing and how can this service benefit you? So when people understand why IP matters, they're much more engaged in learning how to use it.
Are you seeing a lot of women innovators approaching Pat World for help?
Individual innovators, we don't have that many people that do come forward, and it is a mix. It is a mix, male and female. The majority of our work does come directly from patent attorneys, who are referred by the individual innovators. And what we are seeing over the last sort of year is that increase in the diversity of the people that we're working with, which is great. And I'm hoping that's partway through the marketing that we're doing, that we're making it more inclusive. So we are seeing that increase now. I did some research in the UK. This is back quite a few years ago for an article I was writing. I think that might have been actually for the Global IP Matrix, where we were looking at the amount of female to male attorneys that we had instructing us, and it was quite noticeable that women were far lower than men, and still in line with what industry standard was for patent attorneys in the UK. However, it was, there was quite a difference. So over the last few years, we've quite done, and I've made a concerted effort in some respects to be more inclusive in the stories that we're telling, the articles that we're publishing, to make them more diverse. And I think that's starting to pay off, which is great.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And what about within Patworld? So we've got like a steady increase in women. It sounds like not just innovators, but also in the legal space, like in the patent agent or patent attorney space. What about within patent world?
Do you mean in staff or in the people who engage us?
No. Now I mean, so we talked about people who engage you. Now I wonder within Pat World, what is it? I mean, kind of what are the demographics, so to speak, within Pat World?
We are quite diverse. We are still outnumbered by our male colleagues. However, we can be quite vocal, so it doesn't always
Yeah, it's not just a
translate that
numbers
we're
game,
not.
right? It's the
It's
voice.
not just a
It's the
numbers game.
voice.
Yeah, we can be quite vocal. So they do still outnumber us at the moment, but only just. But we do have a diverse background of people. We have people from different nationalities, different. We have people who can speak different languages, which helps when we're dealing with people globally. So we're able to sort of converse in different languages as well, which is great.
That's great. That's great to see. I mean, how important is collaboration, do you think, between technical experts and communicators in driving, diversity and awareness and things of that nature?
Yeah, I think collaboration is absolutely essential. Our technical experts within our teams bring the depth. They make sure that the content that that we provide is accurate and meaningful, especially when we're talking about things like patent landscapes or detailed search strategies. My role there would be to take that expertise from them and shape it into something that's accessible. So that might mean simplifying the structure, clarifying terminology, or just telling the story in a way that someone new to IP can follow. So when those two skill sets come together, technical accuracy and clear communication, you get content that's more trustworthy and welcoming, I think.
So, there's thousands of people that will be listening to this podcast eventually, very soon. And so, if someone listening today, say they're new to IP and they feel, unsure where to start, what would be your one piece of advice?
Don't be afraid of it. Start with a little bit of learning, ask questions, and seek guidance when needed. There are free tools out there that are a great place to start exploring, Espacenet being one. And if you want to go deeper, that's when you call in professionals like Patworld, patent attorneys, your patent agents for more information. But there is so much information out there that you can research now. Certainly, I would look at the likes of Espacenet, the
Can you
US
spell that so
Patent
people
Office.
know? Espacenet. Can you spell that?
I can. It's ESPACENET.
Okay, great. Because I think that'll be helpful for people as they're typing it into their, favorite internet provider like service. Okay.
Of course.
Um, okay, so we're getting to the end. Sad. I told you it goes very quickly. Where can listeners learn more about Patworld and, your upcoming introduction to patent searching course?
Okay. Well, our website is patworld.com. So they can just visit the website and it will provide all the information about the services we provide. It will also provide some information on our new course. There'll be a link on the homepage that just says Introduction to Patent Searching course. They can just click on there, and I'll send over details of how to access the 20% discount. So if we can put those onto the podcast somewhere, then that would be great. If not, then they can contact me at email elearning@patworld.com, and I'll be able to provide a discount code for them.
Okay, beautiful. Yes, and we'll try to include that in the notes for the podcast when we publish it. So, last question. Do you have a mantra? Do you have something that motivates you day to day that you can share and inspire us?
Keep learning. I try and learn something every week. Currently, I've learned how to knit socks. So that's my big thing for Christmas, knitting socks for people. I'm very slow though, Michelle. So I'm hoping I'll get a pair finished for Christmas. But I won't be doing more than 10 a year. That's all I can say, 10 pairs a year. However, I try and learn something every year.
I think that's fantastic. And that's not something small, like a new skill. I like that.
Yep.
I was just listening to a podcast of a incredible woman mountain climber. And she said, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right? So when you're talking about like
Yes.
moving slowly, it's okay. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast because you'll get there, right? You'll get there faster than if you speed through. So wonderful. Well, thank you
I'll
very much.
certainly be remembering that, Michelle. Next year I'll be going to Iceland hiking, so I'll be doing a lot of that slow, I think, and thinking that I'm going fast. So yeah, I'll be taking that
Wonderful.
mantra with me.
Well, I'm so glad that I had something valuable to share to you today as well.
Thank you.
So, Sue, thank you so much for talking with me today and letting
welcome.
us shine a light on you and your expertise. To our listeners, please like, follow, share with your friends and colleagues, but also feel free to send comments and questions. Thank you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their year.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Women's IP World. The Women's IP World.
You have been listening to the Women's IP World podcast, hosted by Michele Katz from Advitam IP in Chicago, USA, on behalf of Northlands Media PR and Marketing Limited in the United Kingdom.
The Women's